I'm in my early 20s, and I have found my dream job. I'm at the radio. I'm being trained at the radio. I'm interviewing people. I'm recording myself. I'm writing texts. Everything is wonderful. But then my boss came and said, next week you're reading the news. Is that life? So the big day came, and we have 5 o'clock in the morning in the radio station. Paper coming out of the ticker. Into the studio, headphones on. Big red light, digital clock, 20 seconds, 10 seconds, 5 seconds, 57, 58, 59. Jingle, the news. With Thomas Friebe, Berlin. The federal health minister had a minister. That was so awful. That was the most embarrassing thing in my life. That was a mess. And someone gave me the title, the worst news anchor in the world. People can be so mean. Who gave me that title? Me, myself, because I deserved it. Today, I help people to overcome their fear of public speaking. And that is something that puts me under pressure now. Oh, the so-called expert. You better not mess that up. But Elvis once said in front of an audience, if you think I'm nervous, you're right. So let me shake, and we'll tackle that together. How many of you have fear of public speaking sometimes in front of an audience? Quite a few. Good. Do you want to overcome that? Yeah. Great. Then, let's do it. So, it was a mystery for me that I couldn't hardly get out of my name back then. But I found the reason and the solution in a book from Bessel van der Kolk. He's a trauma expert. And the book is written, the name is The Body Keeps the Score. And they made studies with trauma patients. And there was a woman who had a hard car accident and she was very traumatized. And they put her in an MRI. And in this MRI, she heard a voice which they recorded before about that accident. And as soon as she heard that voice, dramatical things in her body happened. Her heart raced, she sweated, she shook. And what happened in her brain, we just take a look at. So, do you see that? Yeah. That is the limbic system. And we have done it in red, and that means high activity. And that's normal, because there is also the amygdala. And when the amygdala switches on, we have only 3 options. Flight, fight, and freeze. So, and she was in panic. And the next slide you see is the visual cortex here. You see that in red. And what happened, and that was astonishing for the researcher, because they said, what's going on there? So she had in her traumatic experience in the MRI, she saw the pictures of this accident. And the third thing is that you see the Broca area. The Broca's area is white. What does that mean? No activity at all. So if you know what the Broca's area was, I didn't know that before, but then I had an epiphany. The Broca's area is the area in the brain where we process our speech, where we organize our speech center. So that hit me. I knew, that was the reason why I couldn't hardly get my name out, because if the Broca area is just off, then you can't organize your speech. And a lot of patients, it's clients we say, coming to me and said, Thomas, I don't know what to say anymore. Suddenly everything is away. I don't know what happened. And that was the reason. So, when this part of the brain switches off, you can't get any word out anymore. And that the reason is you have an emotional pain before. And our brain works like a scanner. It scans permanently what's going on. You are doing it right now. You're scanning everything what is dangerous that is stored in your brain, and the other stuff you don't know, you don't need. So your brain scans permanently and looks for similarities. Was that? Do I know that? There is a connection. Whew, and then the alarm system goes on. But I was asking myself, I had no traumatic experience. I was a normal boy. And then it comes. When I was in school and I learned to read, I was not very good at it. And I needed my finger, and I stumbled and stuttered. And the other children, they were laughing. What kind of a hard experience for me. It hurt. Shame hurts. And the emotions we have when we are in public, it's shame, it's embarrassment, it's helplessness. And these feelings are stored deeply inside of us. And we don't want them again feeling that feelings. And make a comparison between my first news and the later on first in school and later on in the radio. There are comparable situations. There are people hearing. There is this pause, and then you only hear your own voice. And then there's this countdown. Isn't it the countdown when the teacher is there? Who is next? Thomas. Thomas. So if you don't want your Broca's area shut down, we have to do something against that. I did it right before I sat there. You want to know what that is? Okay. So my boss, and I admired him, he could have fired me after the first attempt, but he sent me to a speech trainer. And the speech trainer worked with me, and for the first time in my life, I breathed consciously. And I would like to do that with you. Please stand up. It's only for a few seconds. So, just place your hand on your belly. Great. And we just breathe in and breathe out. And if you're doing a really belly breathing, then when you inhale, it's going, the belly is coming out. We don't want that. Yeah. And when you exhale, the belly should go in. And now, just take a normal breath in, and on the F, the letter F, you breathe out. Make that noise. We start again, with one in, and yet one now. On F, out. And if you, when you can't, hold on. You can't anymore, hold on. Hold. Yeah. 1 second, 2 seconds, more. And then, just open your mouth. Okay, thank you. You may sit down again. Have you felt that the air was coming automatically in? Yeah, and that is deep belly breathing. And when you are nervous and you breathe deep into your belly, deep and slowly, for long, like 4 or 5 times, your nervous system is going automatically down. It's that simple. Great, isn't it? Okay. I have some other stuff. It's a little bit more advanced. So, when I was there and breath, that was great. So, but remember, I was talking about this scanner. And our brain is wired that it's like scanning all the time, but often enough, it gives you a false alarm. Ooh. Imagine you're standing in front of 100 people, and everything's going well, and suddenly two people out of 100 are on their phone. So what do you think? Huh? What's going on? And that is a normal mechanism. Your voice shouts inside of you, nobody likes me, or everybody thinks I'm boring. And that is a psychological deficiency, so to say. That means negativity bias. It's a psychological tendency we all have. And the reason how the thing what you can do is ask questions. We had that before. Ask the right question. And it's a simple question. Is it really true? Then you can reflect about that. And take that thing about everybody thinks I'm boring. Just ask, is it really true? Really? And then you make a shift inside. So, back then when I was at the radio, I wanted to prove my boss that I deserve it being there. And I wanted to do the news good, in a really good way. So, I started to being curious about the topic. And I started to listen radio. And I had this wonderful news anchor. And I remember his voice, like, it's such a voice. Ba-boom. It was great. And I taped it on tape recorder. And I heard it over and over and over. And I saw him sitting there, and I admired his confidence. And later on, it eventually I get to that point that I sucked in that confidence. And it was really that I wasn't anymore like, I can't do it. It was like, I want to do that. And that is audio visualization. Oh, what's the other question? Good. Very good at these things. And if you audio visualize, you can change your inner images. And you can change the person you think you are. Because you're not. You can be another person. That was the thing what I learned there. And I really want to give you that. If you have the idea of speaking in front of an audience and doing what you love to do, see yourself in that picture. Feel it. Hear it. Hear your voice. Think about what are you doing. Do it for 5 minutes. 5 minutes a day. Close your eyes. See yourself as the person you want to be. That's your future self. And very soon, you will become that person. I promise. And you will override your fears also. So, one thing what hit me was when my boss called me one day and said, Thomas, I'm very proud of you. It was 10 years after I left the radio. I was like, what? Thomas, I'm very proud of you. I was like, why? I heard you. Where? You were everywhere. I like, woo. And that was a situation where I saw I became another person. And it has a good ending. Oh, it has a good ending. The worst news anchor in the world is today, recently a magazine called me one of the most famous voices in Germany. I'm a professional voiceover artist. And that's what I love. So, what can you get out of this talk here? Hopefully, this time I will get that right. Breathe. Then, audio visualize. And is it really true? That's the question when it's go about negativity. So, stand up and no, don't do it. And stop freaking out and start speaking out. And I want to finish with a German short sentence which rhymes on my last name. And it's the word love. Alles Liebe, Thomas Friebe.